I'm Fernanda Ferrari, Director of Digital Marketing at Peralta Design. And this presentation was specially made for this group because we get a lot of questions from small businesses on, oh, we need help with our social media, but we can't afford the social media, but there's some things to do on social media. And so we hope that this helps you guys at least get a understanding of we did it step-by-step kind of thing to help you just understand the pieces of it. But it's also important to understand that social media should not be your entire digital marketing strategy. It is a piece of the puzzle. So if social media feels right for you, this is for you. Before I get into that, because it is such a piece of the puzzle, there's a lot to digital marketing, and I can do a whole presentation just on this. There's Google Ads, there's email marketing, there's SEO, and then within that, there's all the aspects of marketing, which is branding and having a website, making sure it's call to actions, and all these important aspects. So today we are going to focus in on social. And I'm not sure how many of you guys are familiar with the marketing funnel, but this will help you understand where social media falls for you and your business. So this is a funnel that each of your goals you would use to kind of plan for it. And so the way this works is think of this funnel as how you would get a potential customer to convert. So that would be here. So what you want to do is first they're going to hop on. How are they going to become aware of your business? Is it going to be through networking events? Is it going to be, through joining chambers? It could be through social media, because right now, the great thing about social media is that there's so many people using it, it's becoming word of mouth, which is fantastic. And that's where it becomes awareness. But there's another huge piece of social media where it's also consideration. So someone may mention your business to someone, and they're going to go on their Instagram or on the Facebook page and look for, okay, what do they do? What kind of products do they offer? How are they servicing their clients? Because that's kind of what you want to show on social media. So figuring out where you want to be with social media is going to be important. And then conversion comes from the call to actions, and maybe you're saying, click the link in bio to fill out a form, and now you have their information, now you can start that sales process. So that would be the conversion piece of it. And retention would be once they converted, how are we nurturing that client? Are we sending emails? Are we calling them? Are we sending them a card at the end of the year for, just to stay top of mind? We're going to focus on, the social media aspect of it. So it'll be somewhere in there. Okay, cool. And the purpose of social media is to build community, get that brand awareness. I mean, those are probably the biggest two, is the brand awareness and building community, and just being able to showcase who your business is and what it really means for the target audience, which we'll talk about. Cool. So these are the 5 steps we'll go through in this presentation. The first thing we want to do is understand, what are we on social media for? What are our goals? Who is our audience? Then we're going to brainstorm. These are all steps to take, which is why if you're not taking each of these steps, it becomes overwhelmingly confusing. Brainstorm, you're going to create the assets, you're going to distribute the assets, and they're going to analyze what's working and what's not, and kind of repeat. So let's get into it. So first we want to understand, what is your purpose for social media? Do you want to grow more following? Do you want to build a community? And if you want to build a community, followers don't really matter too much. If what's really important to you are the comments and the engagement and the people tagging and all of that. Do you want to convert a specific product? And it's really important to have SMART goals and not just a goal. Because if you say, I want more followers, it's like, cool, in 6 months, what does more followers mean? So we want to be specific. I want to hit 500 followers by March 31st on 2023 by delivering consistent content at least once a day. Like whatever is realistic for you, of course. This is but make it measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. So having those specific pieces in your goal is really going to help you achieve those goals. It makes it easier to go after, and you know what you're doing. Another huge part of social media is understanding your audience. What do they want to hear? What's important to them? And remember, this is going to tie along with the goal. So if your goal is to sell wedding photography, who is the audience? Are we gonna focus probably more on the bride, or maybe the husband too, but we're gonna focus our content within that, and maybe the promotion for that quarter, let's say you need a quarter to sell a certain amount of clients for this. Maybe you're going to have a promotion going on. And so just understanding who the audience is and what the goal is gonna help you move forward within social media. Understanding the platforms and what you have time for. We don't recommend ever being on all the platforms. That's not realistic, especially unless you have a team and you're paying someone and they know all the platforms, great, do it. But if you're doing this yourself, or it's even like a 3-person committee for social, focus on where your audience is, which is why it's important to know who your audience is. And it's also important, these are the biggest ones that most people are on consistently, it's Instagram and Facebook. Of course, LinkedIn for the most professional, but really, this is where people are spending their like free time on. And so the voice is different. So a lot of people, they're too busy, they just post everything the same on all the platforms. You're probably gonna wanna post hashtags on Instagram, you're not gonna wanna post hashtags on Facebook. You, on the voice on Instagram is more fun and friendly and like, woo, yay, fun. Or Facebook is like, oh, look what we're doing. This is what the business is up to now. And so the voice kind of changes. You can post the same content. It's just a little shift within the captioning and the messaging of it. So once we figure out our goal, our audience, what platform we're gonna be on, now we brainstorm. One way to do this is to look at what other your competitors are doing. So you can Google, which is just gonna show you locally, like, okay, what's if you're an ice cream shop? That's actually what we search. Who is my competitor nearby? You can go on their website now, you can go on their social media now, and you're looking for things like like their messaging and their voice and how they're communicating. And if it's something works for you, like keep it for inspo. And when you're brainstorming for your own, you're like, oh, they promote a lot of the toppings for their ice cream. Maybe that's something I could promote for mine. So it's a good idea to just figure out what around here is, or around your business, what they're doing. And then also social media, that's just general for the ideas itself. Doesn't have to be anything, doesn't have to be a local business, but just kind of, again, what kind of messaging, what actions they're doing, promos. This is also a very important piece of it where people are not on social media, unless they're in the consideration phase. They could be looking for some promotional. But when people are on social media, they're not looking to be sold. They're looking to just be distracted, honestly. So if we can offer them something educational, something entertaining that really can convince them that, you know, this is kind of, but like, it's worth the follow. This is gonna be more worth the follow than you just selling. They're gonna go on this page and be like, okay, they're just trying to sell it right now. I'm not really interested in that, so I'm just gonna come back if I'm ever interested, and then they'll forget about you because there's 100 other things going on through everyone's mind. So this is the tool we use here at PD, which is most of the things are educational. And then some fun things like reels and kind of behind the scenes office things. And then the promotional will be whatever campaign we're running, you know, we'll kind of highlight that a few times. And these are just some ideas for each section. So educational could be tips, trends. Starting a series is really cool because that gives you, maybe if you do a series for, you know, like a 10-part series, and you can divide that up into once a month or once a week, and it gives you 10 weeks worth of content, which is really good. And people can follow and come back to, which is also really good. And then entertainment is just success stories, any fun content. And promotional would be any specials, case studies, things that promote your business and who you are. Okay. We have our whole brainstorming. It literally could be a piece of paper. You're just dumping out ideas, or if you're digital screenshotting things and putting it all together. But now it's time for you guys to create your own asset. Very big piece of this. We see this a lot where people have their own social media and they're grabbing just images from Google, and it's green and then it's blue and then it's just random images everywhere. Having a brand guideline for your business is really important because it keeps the content consistent. So if someone sees your website and then they see a flyer and then they see a social post that someone reposted on their story, they can connect it to that same business. It's a missed opportunity when your content is not branded. And a great place to do this is Canva, which Kaylee mentioned in that workshop she mentioned, or theory for tomorrow. That sounds fantastic because, yeah, this is a free way to create your own content. It's easy and they keep updating the platform. Fantastic. Great platform. It's like a Photoshop if you're not familiar with Canva, but made easy. And this is just an example of consistency throughout a brand. So the flyers, the digital ads, print ads, the social, the email, it's all connected so that if wherever they see it from, they already know where it's coming from. And the more they see it, the more they trust it, and the more they trust it, the more they're willing, you know, if an opportunity arises, they're like, oh, how about that brand? So, and especially if you're feeding them their information. Okay. So you said, you know, you got your goals, you understood your audience, you brainstormed, you created these assets, now what? Are we gonna sit every day, take an hour in the morning to post some content manually? Sure, you can, if that works for you. But what we wanna do is distribute the information. And there are platforms that do that. So if you're only on Facebook and Instagram, Meta has a fantastic tool called the Content Schedule Hub. I'll give you guys the right name. There's an actual name for it. They change it a lot. So Meta changes their platform all the time. And then we use later at PD because it connects Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, all the platforms. So for someone who needs all the platforms, you would probably have to go with something that's unfortunately paid. Meta is free. So if you're just focusing on Facebook and Instagram, Meta is a great tool. It does have a little learning curve. UI UX is a little clunky, and they updated a lot, but it works. So it does what it needs to. Which again allows you to post on 2 different platforms, and you can change the captions as you're scheduling this. You can post stories here and plan. That way you can plan ahead and not have to worry about it anymore. And once, okay, so now the content's going out, we want to analyze this content, and there are ways to do this too. So the platforms you're using always have insight sections where you'll be able to see are you more female or male, or the time of the day that is best for you. We get that question a lot. What's the best time of day to post our content? It depends on your audience. It depends on your community. Maybe they like to sleep till 12, so maybe 1 or 2. But the insights will tell you that. So the more you post, the more data you collect, and you'll have accurate information on your own audience. Another really good place, if you have a website, analytics is great. And if your goal is to get more people onto the website, analytics has a lot of information, collects a lot of data if done correctly. And if you do have Google Analytics on your website, you should be on GA4. That's very important. If you're not, you need to be on it by July 1st, or you will not be collecting data anymore for your website. So convert to GA4. That's just a side note, but important. But you'll see on analytics, you know, where your traffic is coming from, organic, social versus, you know, you'll see all the different aspects of it. There's 2 organic socials too. And then another thing you can analyze, other than who your audience is and what they're doing and where they're coming from, you can also see what posts do the best. And if you have a post that did really well, maybe you should put some money behind it to reach an even larger audience. And you can do that with boosting, which is very simple. It's not the whole advertising piece of it. It is advertising, but it's not through the complicated piece of advertising. It's really simple. You can just select the reach, who your audience is, their interest, and that's it. And you boost that. So let's say you want to just reach, you know, the valley versus just who you're reaching right now within your business. You can do that. It works really well for growth and like brand awareness. So yeah, and then once you do this, and again, advertising it's optional, obvious, of course, but it does help push a little further, push that brand awareness, especially if you're creating good content and you've got your feed going. Definitely, I would recommend. And then you just repeat that once a month. We like to do it once a month. So in the beginning of the month, get our content for the month, and then we analyze, and then we go back. Okay, what worked, what didn't, what should we do more of, what should we do less of? Any new ideas? So that is it.